Afternoon. Afternoon, everybody. Make sure I'm going through okay. Afternoon. Yep. Hope everybody's well. Who's in the room today? Alan, how you doing, pal? Sorry, I can't pronounce your name, mate. Good to see you. Krister, no soccer? No. VP, always late. What's your name? Always late to the party? Just so I remember for next time. Good to see everybody in the room. Right. We've closed out the DXY. Now, as I said, on Monday, I'll realize this for next time, but my whole stream got copyrighted, so I couldn't see maybe all the entries into the DXY competition. However, I got some. Oh, you can't see that. There you go. And from what I've seen, and again, if you're watching this on catch up or you're in the chat and you think I'm wrong here, then let me know if I haven't got your entry in, is that I've won. So I had 93.722. It's now 93.92. But is that right? 93, 94.50? No. 94.50? No. 93.42. Lamb? No. 94, 93, 70. So Rohit was, I put 722. I think I was just putting a guess on when I got, so I beat him by 0.002. Denise 95, 94, 95, 94, 30. Oh, hold on. Logan 94, 350. 94, 350. Anyway, you guys do the math there. If you can tell me who's won. I think it's me, but it could be Logan then. It could be Logan. I thought about giving it to the next best one, and I thought, no, you got to earn that $50. So if I win it, I'm going to have myself a few beers. But anyway, if I've done my maths wrong, let me know. And if you are watching this on catch up and you did enter at maybe, let's say 94, and I've not got you, then let me know. I'll trust your honesty, hopefully. Anyway, so hopefully I've won, because I'm going out for a few beers tonight, so that would be nice. Anyway, so next week we'll do what we'll do next week, we'll do Bitcoin, shall we? We'll do Bitcoin. Anyway, I'd say you're not allowed in the competition. Swiss yen. So I'll go into Swiss yen first, because that's always a nice thing to show. This for me, this week has been a beast, right? This trade has been an absolute beast. I mean, look at that. This doesn't happen, right? I'm not going to sit here and say this does happen all the time. It doesn't. This is just out of the ordinary. Possibly one of those 3 or 4 big winners per year where I get my edge. So again, if you don't know the setup, big V reversal, nice corrective channel, push on, ABC, accumulation, and bang, off we go. Broken these highs, pullback, broken these highs. There is an argument here to move our stop here. And do you know what? I think with how it's going, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to lock in some more profit up here because we have broken these highs. Just because of the extension it's on. I'll put that in my website in the chat as well on A1, because sometimes if it goes too extended, it can snap back quite hard. So I'm perfectly happy with locking in some profit, and it's been an absolute monster. Absolute monster. But in saying that, you know, the weekly looks great. But I think you have to lock in profit there because we had to try to have a pullback on smaller time frames, and I'm happy to be there. Hey, teammate, hope you're well. Rohit, yeah, sorry, mate. 0.002. That was just a little bit of luck, I guess. Anyway, Swiss yen's good. So, I mean, I can't complain about that. That is a lovely trade. Now, Pound Aussie. Pound Aussie, again, is another risk-free trade that we are in, or I am in. I'm not sure if you guys are in. I think some of you may be in. I've took some profit off at 1-to-1 here, and I'm simply trailing the rest now. So we created our new swing. Just come over here. Created our swing here and started moving down. We did break underneath this area, but I'm not sure if you guys know that the pound's got a little bit of strength right now. I didn't see any data come out, so let me know if anything fundamental has changed. I've just kind of logged on and seen this 4-hour. However, I mean, this is fine by me. If we do create a swing here, I can just simply move my stop down. So I'm not massively worried about it. Like I said, it's all locked in. Could get a reaction. The path of least resistance, although it's had a push on, is still to the downside. And until our stop's been taken or still this has been broken, that downtrend still exists. So just about keeping patient. and not getting worried about this, just sticking to your plan. I mean, there's a lot of times you see going with the trend, if this does come back up, it might be bullish here, but then come back down. You don't want to get worried and say, right, I'm out of this now, and then it flips around into that trend direction, and you could have gotten more profit from what you've taken out. So yeah, lovely week. Swiss yen, lovely week. Pound Aussie, we did get stopped out on the DXY. However, you ain't going to win them all, right? Now, the dollar is in a strange position. I'll do GJ, Obed. Just give me a second to go through my list here. So my bias, there's basically conflicting messages here. So the daily, your sentiment is slightly shifted because of this price action, right? This isn't very nice, not nice at all. However, we did get a slight rejection off that 20, a slight hammer candle. The 4-hour does look bearish. We could be in for our possible complex corrective here. Let that 20 catch up. Catalyst for entry, or a catalyst to say that it wants to move to the downside before continuation and probably testing this area here. That would be my bias. I think I think that has to be the bias because that's what the chart is telling us. Even though we're going against the trend here, with this price action, it's possibly saying that there's some weakness coming into dollar, which there has been. So I would think we're getting into this complex corrective. If you get, remember, the EURUSD likes a 50%, or the DXY likes a 50% retracement. If you get a catalyst around that 50% area here, possibly a hammer engulfer, basically selling pressure coming in, I don't think that would be a bad entry in the DXY for coming down to test this area. If we break underneath, you could see this dollar wobble. I have to admit, I didn't expect this. I honestly thought dollar looked quite good going to the last quarter of the year. However, that's my bias with dollar. Wait for that corrected to be over. Wait for that 20-period catch-up for continuation shorts. SPX today, I've gone risk on / neutral. I think there's still that neutral bias in there because we have not broken this anchor to trend. So we still have to be aware of where we're coming from. So I wouldn't go full-blown risk on. However, in this period here, obviously the yen's been very weak. The Swiss has been relatively weak and the USD has been quite weak. So even though it has been risk on, I do my sentiment from a kind of larger context rather than just intraday. So this is okay now. We've broken out of our key area. There seems to be buying pressure coming in, although we have to be aware we've come from this decent impulse. So could we get a pullback? Absolutely, we could get a pullback. We maybe don't want this to continue on in this fashion because, again, those kind of real impulse moves are sometimes liable for a snapback. Now, I know that's more related to the Forex market, but it certainly does happen. So I think because it is a Friday, maybe we get a retest of this area, this breakout zone, i.e. old resistance becoming new support. We've broken out of that 200. We have got a slight extension on that 20. So in terms of health-wise, and remember, we want this market to continue because we're seeing follow-through. We're seeing momentum. So I want this market to continue because this is where, as I've said, over summer, that's not where I make my money. This is where I make my money with that momentum, with that follow-through. And if we keep creating, hopefully, healthy trends in this SPX with that momentum, that's exactly what we want. So we don't want to get it too extended. I think maybe we retest this area, let that 20 catch up before continuation to the upside. See, daily looks good. You know, maybe we're breaking out of this secondary trend in terms of Dow theory from this primary trend for continuation on. Investment-wise, not a bad place to pick up some SPX for your long-term portfolio. Rowan, how you doing, mate? Hope you're well. Good to see you. Okay, setups today. I've only got 4, so if you want me to look at anything, put it in the chat. Aussie Cat, I kind of liked this morning. We were in this head and shoulders, potential head and shoulders. It was looking okay. We were respecting that 20. We've come off a little bit, but that doesn't mean this is off the cards yet. I would like to see some bullish pressure come in today, now, really in the next 4-hour candle for completion of this corrective because we're still valid until we break below these lows here. But I would like it to push on here, potentially giving us 1 or 2 bars before taking this to the upside. So I kind of wanted that trade. It has come off a little bit. And again, if it fails, then it might just fail. Pound Swiss. Pound Swiss. Pound Swiss is breaking through. I've had this on my list for a while. This is not a breakout trade for me. However, if it does break through, the context is there for a breakout retest. I like this trade. I like this trade. Certainly if we close like we are now, this could be, if it breaks out and retests here for me, a nice little entry on Pound Swiss to the upside. Certainly as you'd expect Pound to come on a bit against that Swiss if stocks continue to push. I wouldn't have mind if you'd taken that breakout. Remember, I send my watch list out to RTFX and A1. So if you'd taken that breakout, I wouldn't have minded it. As long as you've given yourself a decent stop. I know that's quite a large stop. You've got to think about that as well, maybe there. But for me, a breakout retest, coming on that 200, coming on that 20, coming on that previous resistance, becoming new support, it's just a bit more of a higher probability trade and a trade that I would like to be in. But we know Pound, once Pound goes and it has the momentum, it can certainly move. But yeah, I like this. This is really nice. It's a good area as well. It's a good area to break from. So yeah, this is nice. I want to get in on that. It just depends whether I can. Okay, I'll do GJ. You asked me about GJ since I'm doing G Swiss. I would just, this yen, have people been profiting from this yen? Have you been selling the yen for the past week? If you have been, you should be doing very well. I mean, look at that. That is, the Aussie yen, the New Zealand yen, the anything against the yen is just absolutely motoring. And you can, if you're in that, if you're not in that, I would be worried about buying it. I know it's been weak, but I would be worried about buying it since we've come from here with GJ. But if you're in it, your stop, move your stop to the swings, just let it run as much as it can. Because we don't want to get out of this trend. As the yen weakens off, you want to continue to be in these trades and just let them run as much as they can. And I know that's easier said than done. But yeah, if you're not in it now, you're either waiting for a proper pullback or you're moving your stop to capture in more profits on that GJ, in my opinion. Litecoin, a crypto on the list now. Litecoin's nice. I'm taking the setup from here, this V reversal. I'm not worried about this section. So we've got our V reversal. I'm looking for a potential corrective prior to this break. We kind of got a slight, wasn't really a fake out, but we've got a reaction at this resistance zone, which is what we want. If we can consolidate or correct a little bit more, again, think about our 50% rule, something like this to potentially go long on Litecoin. That would be quite nice. I like where the daily is, potentially breaking through this 200, through this anchor, pushed on, nice corrective and pushing through. Again, this is something that I like. Bitcoin's moving quite well. The altcoins kind of go a little bit, well, normally those altcoins will follow Bitcoin kind of in delayed fashion. So if you get a nice setup in Litecoin, this would be nice. I'm not sure, is Ezio in the room? If Ezio's in the room, he was talking about Ethereum last week, which is kind of broken out now. So I did say with Ethereum, I'm not sure if he's here. He usually says hi, but from here, you're expecting or you're wanting a little bit more of a reload. Now, this is not a trade for me. It wouldn't have been a breakout trade that I take, but it just shows you that this kind of reload from that resistance area just makes things a little bit healthier. So Ethereum looking quite good. UJ going on and on. Yeah, UJ's been a monster. Yeah, absolute monster. Pound New Zealand. Okay, I'll do Pound New Zealand. Rohit. The final one for me is this US 30. The Dow Jones on this daily chart, potentially on the 4-hour, but this looks nicer than the SPX for me. So I head and shoulders here. Decent day yesterday. I don't want this to break now. Again, I need that 20-period catch-up, that squeeze into the area. But this is nice. If it does break, we can look for a retest. But in terms of price action, Dow Jones looks decent. 4-hour, you're expecting a reaction here. We've kind of got a rough setup that we like to see in terms of our cup with handle. But as always, I don't take breaks when movements start from quite deep. And also, I'm starting to take a note of, because if you've been following the watch list, right, this week and really the last 2 weeks, I've got a lot of things, a lot of biases has been right. I know it's easy to say now, But even during summer, I had a lot of biases that were right. And I'm starting to notice within our higher time frame confluence, areas like this to get in on. And one thing I've noticed is I know it can be a very decent or a simple pullback entry. And I'll show you this with AJ, right? So the patterns that I'm looking at, there is potential here for early entries or more aggressive entries, which kind of, if we're looking at a V reversal here, if you notice here with AJ, and I've seen this a few times, I think we saw it with USD SEC and a few different pairs. But if you look here, remember we had higher time frame confluence of this. We've got a larger V reversal. We got a nice channel corrective. I was looking at this point a break above here. But notice the volume coming in on this 200, you know, I mean, yes, you can say essentially, Ryan, that's just a pullback order. I get it, but we're getting that higher time frames as well. So I'm going to start taking notes on this because I think there's a strategy there for what I look for in terms of a bit more aggressive early entries. And obviously, you can see the power of that. If you're taking a 4 hour here, I mean, that would have been, that's your salary paid for the year, right? So I'm going to start taking notes on that, which I'll do. I'll do that live on stream so you guys can see how I kind of develop a strategy. I've still got that fake out strategy, which I am developing, but it's been there's been no real one that I've seen for quite some time. Anyway, I think it's interesting. It's funny how as you go on, I always thought at the start, right, breakout retest, that would be it, right? So now I've got the breakout, retest, I'm developing a fake out. And just something that I've noticed recently that I would like to start testing is that early entry into a breakout category, but it would be specifically on this 4 hour chart. I think that would be a higher time frame. I think those higher time frames would be more powerful. And certainly something like this, you know, certainly something like this, when we do have that higher time frame confluence, because I've seen it time and time again, might be okay, you know, might be okay. But let's see. Okay, let's look at, what do you want me to look at? Pound New Zealand, Pound New Zealand. So I'm done. I've got my 4 pairs. I'm looking Pound Swiss, Aussie CAD, US 30, and Litecoin. Obviously in Swiss yen and Pound Aussie. If you want me to look at anything, let me know now, and I will have a look. But it is a Friday. I'm not interested in losing my money on silly forced trades because of what's happened with the Swiss yen and the Pound Aussie. So Pound New Zealand, if you are in, well, you look at this from a daily perspective, right? That 4 hour is bullish, okay? But it still doesn't change the whole sentiment here. You know, Pound New Zealand looked bullish at this point, and then it kind of shifted a little bit, looked bearish. This candle, we've got to respect this candle right now. I know we would ideally like it on a bit more volume, but it is the dominant candle. And for trend continuation, it doesn't look too bad, okay? 4 hour, we have moved from the downside. Maybe we're in pullback mode. So looking for entries around that 40-60 box in Pound New Zealand still makes sense until it doesn't. You know, it is a bullish candle. Okay, it is a bullish engulfer. It is kind of a naked Forex setup, if you know about naked Forex. But we have to remember where we came from, and yeah, just be aware of the trend we are in. So Pound New Zealand, I would say possibly right now in pullback mode, but let's see. Daily still looks bearish. Kiwi dollar, too late for the long. Is that because you're always late to the party? Kiwi dollar, too late for a long. Yeah, I would say so. I think, I mean, that's not... Where would you take that? I mean, where would you take that? That's kind of hard to predict for me. From the way I look at the markets, I couldn't predict that break above that resistance zone. We got a slight 4 hour hammer here, so maybe, yeah. I mean, you could look for a retest. You do have the 200 here, which will be a support, dynamic support to price. Let's look at the smaller time frames. The daily looks good for longs. Okay, so we're obviously getting a reaction roughly around this resistance area. Maybe if you get this to go to the upside, let that 200 come below, so your breakout's above that 200, that would make sense. It looks less of like a pullback now, or it's not a pullback, it's more a change in trend, really. So I would wait for a pullback entry, essentially in New Zealand dollar, I think, is your best bet. But yeah, biases has to be to the upside, right? Your bias has to be to the upside. Lamb, hi Ryan, Euro Pound. Oh, Euro Pound, you asked me about that on Wednesday. More downside. Let's see, Euro Pound. Yeah, I don't mind that, Lamb. I don't mind that. I know I did say here, it's not something you'd like to go short on. Maybe we're getting to the point of this, tagging this area at the bottom. I like the fact that it's kind of faked out, and then movement back down to the downside. If you're in it, I mean, your stop could be here now, if you're still in it, waiting for a potential another swing and then continue it to the downside. 4 hour looks okay now, breaking out from here, kind of breakout retest on your 4 hour. If I put this down here, doesn't actually look too bad for me. Yeah, for me, I just couldn't bring myself to short it, but the bias was certainly to the downside. So just play it. If you're in it, just play it for as long as it wants to go, you know. Just be aware that you have come from a decent bet, like I said on Wednesday. You have come from a decent move to the downside, so I'd certainly like my Swiss yen, just keep capturing that profit, you know, and letting it run. That's your best bet. You know, the saying "let your winners run" is a saying for a reason. So yeah, I think it's good to the downside. That would probably have pierced the lower Bollinger Band if you use them. Which pair are you talking about? Probably Kiwi dollar. You must use them, VP, right? I've never been a big Bollinger Band guy, but I've seen a lot of people use them and use them well. But yeah, I guess you're right. Still in it. Okay. All right, guys. So next week, so if unfortunately I am the winner of the DXY. I'll take that all day. I did think about when I was streaming. I thought, well, maybe I give it to second place. Maybe I give it to Rohit. But I thought, nah. If I win it, I win it. There's no such thing as a free lunch, right? So next week we'll do the Bitcoin. We'll do Bitcoin or a potentially random chart where hopefully one of you guys. I prefer one of you guys to win it, but like I said, I ain't giving away unless I'm not. Yeah. Anyway, whatever. All right, guys, I appreciate you being here. We've got 21. 21 is the most I've ever had. So if you like the video, make sure you like the video. I'm trying to grow it, trying to get to 500. Let's see if we can get above 15 likes would be great. That would mean a lot to me. And thank you to all the new subscribers, everyone coming from A1. I'll do a little plug since I'm here. If you are interested in taking your trading to the next level, I do have a website which is kind of just launched. We give away a 50K monthly FTMO challenge to one of our members. We do have a Discord as well. This is our platform. I'm about to bring in another, pretty much a power horse of a trader. So we stream 3 times a day. I do the morning scan, the US Open scan. Glenn does the US session scan. We show the trades that we are taking, the watch list, etc., etc. If you're interested in that, link is down below. 7-day free trial. All right. Have a great weekend, all, and I'll see you all on Monday. Cheers, guys. Trade safe. Peace.